it's there's only like 15 seconds of intro because I hate long intros on podcasts, so I wanted to make ours short and sweet.
We need to have like a mascot.
It's the P. Our mascot is our big P.
What is the intro music like again?
It goes do ba da ba 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 do. Nah, it probably doesn't sound anything like it at all. Just go fucking turn on the thing for 2 seconds.
Hang on, I gotta find it. I follow a lot of channels.
I saw 6 Tears of the Kingdom Switches at Bull Moose already. 6.
Yeah, like they're pretty available.
Yeah.
I just didn't want to like go get one in the store. I just wanted it to come to me.
I mean, they're like $370 too, so I was like, I'll pass on that.
Well worth it.
Well worth it. I mean, it does look slick, I'll give you that. And it's the OLED, which I don't have.
Yeah, but I mean, did you play it mobile? I like never played it mobile.
My Switch? Yeah, it's like the only way I played it. Well, it's because I
It's
had
the only way you can play it.
Yeah, exactly.
You're like, do you ever play it mobile? Or you're just like, it's the only way I can play it.
Yeah. Thanks.
And then I'm just like, I know. And you're like, you son of a bitch.
Ask me the last game I played on it. Well, you actually probably know.
Whatever the Strikers game is called.
No, it was.
It's on the Switch, isn't it?
The long stretch guy strikers or Omega Strikers?
Omega Strikers.
Oh, no, it was Kirby.
That was like over a year ago.
No, the new Kirby, but I didn't beat it. I just played it to like the 3rd level, and then I got bored and I stopped playing.
Oh wait, we can intro now.
Oh, well. I hated that. I don't want that to be the intro. You do the intro.
All right. Welcome everybody to the P3 podcast. It's been 3 weeks since we last sent out one. We're going to try some new shit, talk about some stuff. Let us know in the comments if you like what we were talking about or if there's something you want us to talk about. I'm here. It's me, Piro, with Poster Ghost. We're just going to chat about popular media, anime, movies, games, and some music. We'll wrap this shit up in an hour.
We're on a strict time schedule. I got chewed out before we started this podcast from... are you the manager? Because I'm technically the producer, so I'm going to call you the manager by our manager.
I'm the director.
The director. But yeah, we're going to try to keep each section to like a tight 10-15 minute window, and it'll keep everything about an hour.
I want you to remember that our first podcast was called This Was Supposed to Be 30 minutes.
30 minutes? I think it was 45.
Or was it 45? Or was it supposed to be 45?
45, yeah. And then we got...
Yeah, and it was an hour and a half.
Yeah, and then we got the second one down to 40, 48, almost 50, so we were doing good. But then we jumped back up to an hour 10 on the third one. So right now our window is an hour. We're right in the middle at an hour. But yeah, so this time we're going to get right into it. We're not going to waste your time with the preamble. We're just going to...
Aren't you wasting time with the explanation right now? And then I'm wasting time with this explanation about the explanation?
I mean, we could keep wasting time by talking about the explanation of the explanation of the explanation.
Can you hear the wasting my time song? Is that like Stain default or is that Creed? I forget.
Oh, I don't remember. It's been too long. That should be your song you share with me. Just like staring in my soul as like you make me listen to that. Well,
no, it's the fucking from The Wedding Singer. It's like, somebody kill me.
Yeah. Kill me, please. Oh man. Well, it's a new season, everybody. It's springtime. I hope everyone is enjoying the spring weather. And
yeah, I hope your nostrils are enjoying the condition.
I am so glad I am out of California right now and away from those goddamn almond blossoms. The almond blossoms wreaked havoc on my sinuses. But here in Maine, fresh.
No, it's just a different thing.
It's just blueberries and pine. That's all I get here. It's delicious. It's fresh air. None of that smogged out shit California air.
The air of freedom?
The air of freedom. You know, look, just because... Actually, Maine's a pretty liberal state. We have a lot of freedoms here, too. It's not like we're Louisiana or Texas or something like that. Or Florida.
I mean, who's it going to be? You're like, no, it's every time. Who's it going to be? Mississippi?
Yeah.
Mississippi? Who's it going to be?
Yeah. Which one are you? But yeah, what also comes with the new weather is new anime season, and the spring season this time, like last season, like we had the big what was it, Chainsaw Man, and what was the other one that came alongside Chainsaw Man that everyone was watching?
My Hero was out.
My Hero. Was that there was a third one we were watching? What was it? Well,
Must not have been that good if I can't remember.
yeah, if I can't remember, I think Made in Abyss was airing, but either way, like the big two were like those ones. But now we have like these really good dark animes that are coming in their place, like seinens that
It was Trigun Stampede.
oh yeah, and it was poopy. It was Dookie Duke. I stopped watching it, dropped it. But yeah, so this season though, I feel like we're getting some really good ones, some treats. Obviously, do you want to talk about what we've both seen first?
Oh yeah, I thought we were just gonna go to this order.
Oh yeah, we just well, Hell's Paradise. Zach showed me this.
I showed you both of these.
Yeah, he did show me both everything on this list pretty much, but he showed me it, and I'm trying to think. I haven't watched it in a while, and I haven't seen the newest episode yet. But remind me what it's about, Zach.
It's about these convicts who all have special abilities going to this island that was supposed to be paradise.
That's right.
Per the show, and they're supposed to find the elixir of life, and you get there, and it's like some sort of evil nightmare hell world.
That's right. It's got like the weird yokai things, and like that's like kind of the running thread for this season is like really strange yokai-ish monsters. But what really stood out to me is like the characters in this one too. I really like the Kunoichi that we just ran into that keeps getting put into arm locks because she's too seductive. I think it's funny. But I'd also think there are going to be a lot of cosplays from Hell's Paradise.
I feel like it's a lot of easy cosplays too, but it's like it's doing that thing that what the fuck, like we said with the Terraformers when that was out, like they fucking murked like a guy that they started giving you like a lot of detail about really quickly.
Yeah,
and I think there's something about like the art style too. It seems very stylish at the same time.
Yeah, we're like episode 3, and they are definitely killing characters that you think you need to invest into, or you're like, oh, this guy's cool. Or you're like, oh, they put a lot of work into his character design. Yeah, you can't. It's one of those. You can't attach yourself to anyone in this anime because you don't know what's going to happen.
You don't get to like anybody because the minute you like somebody, they're dead.
Not only that, but like all of these characters, like except for like the one main like girl character, seem to have some kind of slanted backstory that makes you like begrudgingly like want to like them because they're criminals.
Like the fucking they're the not the Arnkar. What were the bad guys called?
In Arrancar, right? Or the
no, Espada. It's like the Espada, where like they all had some kind of redeeming thing in like the background of Bleach.
Yeah,
we like reluctantly like them afterwards, but everybody's kind of a piece of shit because they're all criminals.
Mm-hmm. It's the same thing they try to do in Demon Slayer, where like they give the demons some sort of redemption at the end, like where you kind of try to empathize with them, and you're like, oh yeah, they're a demon, but I can see how they got to that point.
Well, and then you still get the. I feel like it's almost like they're reaching back to like the 80s 90s style of stuff. Like I'm getting a lot of like Yu-Gi-Oh vibes from the show in general too, and the way they're trying to do the storytelling.
Yeah,
and I think that it's getting the nostalgia from like the older generation, because it's not characters who are overly emotional or anything like that. It's masculinity, the fucking show.
Yeah, it's nice because it's like it's not trying to be overly optimistic or pessimistic. It still kind of has a sense of wonder to it, and almost like has lighthearted moments. But it just has this air of seriousness to it that has been missing from a lot of animes, or it's like the central, not theme. Yeah, I guess theme is a good word, but the central like feeling and theme of the anime feels more mature than things like My Hero Academia or even Chainsaw Man. I feel like Chainsaw Man, even though it has very mature themes, doesn't feel as mature as Hell's Paradise.
There's too much humor.
Mm-hmm.
There's not a lot of humor in this. This show is very dark. It's very real.
It also doesn't have the slice of life element that a lot of these seinens have. Hell's Paradise is a straight up fantasy anime, which is cool.
Well, they're supposed to be what, the Dark trilogy or whatever, not trilogy, but the Dark Three or whatever it is with JJK and Chainsaw Man, and this is very different than those two shows.
I agree. I think this one's JJK and Jujutsu Kaisen both fall into very shonen-y tropes, wrapped into a seinen kind of thing, right? But I feel like this one doesn't rely so much on the shonen-y stuff, or at least it hasn't in the first 3 episodes. We'll see how the characters evolve and arc.
Well, I mean, on the topic of ultra-violence, it's sort of like the same reason we started watching Heavenly Delusion too, right?
But I think Heavenly Delusion does it better. They're like, whereas like this has small elements of the shonen in it, like Hell's Paradise, it has the over-the-top fighting and the fantasy. Heavenly Delusion is one of the most grounded animes I feel like I've watched in a long time.
A regular Dr. Stone, if you will.
Yeah, exactly. They basically rebuilt society from the ground up with nothing but a laser beam. No.
Yeah, go back and watch our P3 reacts to Dr. Stone if you haven't.
Yeah,
that's. Yeah, I think that ground is almost. I know we've kind of talked about it before. Like you get like that sort of Miyazaki vibe a little bit to it.
Mm-hmm.
It feels more like a movie a lot of the time than it does feel like a series.
And the art style leans into that too. Like not just the way it feels and the way it's delivered, because it is delivered like with these really like sweeping. What's not cinematic? Panoramic like landscape shots, like really long shots of a boat going across the water, and then like when you come in, it's like crowds of people, restaurants, a lot of busy movement, like things happening in the background around the main characters that really brings this world to life. It's really cool.
Well, I think the purpose of that in general is to like reflect on like little control the characters have in the world and how small they are.
Yes.
Relative to everything. And like I think it makes it feel way more grounded as opposed to a shonen where it feels like like the world revolves around. The world does not revolve around these characters.
Mm-hmm.
The characters exist in this world, almost like the two Final Fantasy worlds, right? Where it's like character driven versus story driven. And I feel like in this one it's way more driven by the story than like the Deus Ex Machina of the characters that usually happens in like a shonen.
Exactly. And like me and Zach have already kind of had this talk before, like in earnest, because we've been really into these kind of animes, and I think it's also purported by like the apocalypse scenario, because this is a end of the world anime, but it does it in a way like they do it in an HBO series or something like that. I referenced The Last of Us, where you're finding out the mystery of the world through the journey of the characters. And it's very important in a story like that for the pacing of both to be even. Because if you have the characters overcoming the world too fast, it ruins the mystique of the world. And if you have the world overcoming the characters too much, you stop caring about the characters. So there's a really nice balance in Heavenly Delusion that exists of that.
Yeah, and I think that if you're looking for something like way more grounded, like more like palatable for not only you, but like, you know, somebody who might be newer to anime, because Hell's Paradise is not for somebody who's new, but Heavenly Delusion, it, like we said, it feels more Miyazaki style, which I think is more palatable for the general audience.
And it also has like a little bit of everything that you'd want to show someone in anime. Like it has the hyper violence, the like high tension action scenes, and then it kind of has this weird sci-fi subplot that is existing next to it that we're finding out kind of slowly too. It's very neat. And it has like the yokai, the crazy yokai mystified Japanese demons where you're like, what the hell am I looking at?
Well, and speaking of demons, I mean, we couldn't talk about this season of anime without talking about Demon Slayer, right?
Heck yeah. Which, I mean, I'll be completely honest with you, and I feel like we talked about this after the last season, after the what is it, the Entertainment District arc. We talked about, like, how the fuck is it going to keep this momentum? How is Demon Slayer going to keep its momentum going? because I feel like after even the Demon Train movie, we were saying that, and then after the Swordsmith arc, the Entertainment arc, we said it again. Like, how is it going to keep this momentum going? So, how do you think the momentum is going to keep going in this season?
I mean, I think you're already kind of looking at it if you've seen the last episode, just escalating instead. Like they're not waiting. Instead of it being like, oh, we're gonna slowly explore this new area, it's turning into the enemies are pushing. We're
Mm-hmm.
not falling into this. The enemies are coming after us, and this is what's happening. And it's not a whole, where in the last arc, it's like, oh, we're exploring. We're gonna slowly figure that out. No, that is not what this is.
Yeah.
They. uh what is it, Mizuhan? He's like pissed and coming after them
Yeah.
now. And so we are not getting we're gonna go explore the area like it's fucking Scooby-Doo. No. It's fucking war now. And you based off of kind of how the manga already done.
Right.
And there's not really time to do that many more seasons. There are probably maybe 2 more.
Wow. Yeah.
So what is this going to look like? Because it's easy to keep escalating if there's only a couple more seasons.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah. I think that this is what they're going to do. They're just going to keep escalating because the villains are so much stronger, but we already know them. They're not going to be new.
Right. Well, how do you think then? So we have 2 villains, right? And we have 1 villain that can split 4 ways right now. Sorry, spoilers for anyone who hasn't seen any of this season. Go ahead and keep skipping until you hear me go. I don't know.
Why don't you put up the spoiler tag?
Okay. Spoiler tag. I'll put a sound right here too. All right. So everything after that sound, this is going to be a spoiler. So the main villain has split into 4 parts and is taking on one Hashira, Nezuko, and our main character
Tanjiro, and another one. Another demon player.
The Mizuhine, the other guy?
The gun.
I'm sorry. That's what I was referring to. The gun guy, Nezuko, because the other guy was fighting the fish people and saving the sword arc village. I can't talk.
He's trying to rescue. He's trying to Tanjiro the sword back. Like I know that's what it is. Well,
right.
The kid is saying you have to protect him, but we know he's working on the sword.
Right.
So, and then Mitsuri's coming now. Like that was the end of the last episode. So it's like.
Well, Mitsuri, I feel like one of them, like, what's going to happen is like, okay, these 4 guys might get overwhelmed by all of them, but then do you think the pot guy is going to be strong enough to fight all of them at once, or do you think the pot guy is going to come as reinforcements?
I think the pot guy's stronger than the 4 guy.
Yeah, and he's going to be able to take on multiple Hashira.
I mean, that's what it has to be. Like, if we're not getting Inosuke and Zenitsu in this, like, it has to be 3.
True.
And I bet Tanjiro and Nezuko kill the one by themselves. Then we have Mitsuri and I fucking forget what his name is because his name is short.
The mist one?
Yeah, killing the other one.
Gotcha. Yeah.
Like that's what I think happens. But I don't know if somebody die again.
Mm-hmm.
Because I know that spoiler for even Chris.
No!
Most of them die in the last arc.
Oh, okay.
Like the people who are gonna die. I don't know how I tried to avoid spoilers, but TikTok doesn't protect you from anything.
This is why I stay out of the anime side of TikTok. No spoilers.
But yeah, I'm really liking the season. I was sort of mad that they escalated things, but now that I'm like looking at it through the lens of like, we're not gonna wait until you're ready. It's just gonna happen.
Yeah, you didn't get much swordsmith, which I mean, I kind of don't mind, because last time you were complaining about kind of like the slice of life downtime parts of the entertainment arc village, so it's like, well, here you go, we're in it.
I mean, I think it's more that like, okay, we were jogging, now we're running, and then you're like, okay, we'll finally get a break. No break.
No, none of that for you. Well, yeah, I mean, aside from that, I've been watching a bunch of like, kind of like shitty anime. I wouldn't say they're even shitty. They're just like, I don't have the time for them. So I watched Oshinoko, which is about the guy who gets reborn as the pop idol's son. And like the premise was just a weird, and I knew that it was going to be like a feel good anime or like a heartstring anime. And I was like, I just don't have the time. Like, I don't have the like attention for that. Like I can't give it what it deserves. So I was like, can't watch that. Dropped that. Then I watched the Otaku Elf, which that one was cute and it was animated well, and I was like, I think I want to watch that one, but I stopped watching it, dropped it. And then We both tried to watch Butt Detective, but it was just too good. We felt like we could never watch Butt Detective. And then, I was going to say, I've been watching a little bit of The Hero is Dead, I think is what it's called. But yeah, that one's just kind of shitty too. It's just an isekai, and it's about to get dropped just because I don't have time to watch it. I've got a lot of other stuff going on my plate. It's finals and everything, so I've been, getting all my work done and trying to get everything done. And I've been, watching a lot of movies too. I've been going to the movie theater every Tuesday for the cheap movies, and it's
the sadness matinee.
Hey, sometimes I bring someone, all right? I'm not going by my lonesome every time, just some of the times. Oh, I also never... end spoilers. Beep!
Well, we're going to talk about the movies. Isn't that going to be...
Yeah, that was my transition. But yeah, that was a really bad transition.
We're going to talk about movies. Aren't there going to be spoilers for the movies?
Oh, yeah. Resume movie spoilers.
So, Chris has watched a bunch of movies. I watched, 2 in the last month. So... in the theater. I don't normally go to the theater.
There's been a lot of good movies. I think this is just the time for movies to be released. Everything's coming back into movie mode. So, and of course, we had to see the D&D movie when that came out because we play enough Dungeons and Dragons, and everyone got to go together except for me.
Yep. Yeah, all the main people in the party got to go.
Oh.
All the people that mattered.
And I cried. I cried for an hour that night. The whole time they were at the movies. I told them I was fine, but I wasn't fine.
Good.
But yeah, I thought the D&D movie was pretty good. It actually... Everyone made fun of me after they watched it, but I was like, yeah, it made me tear up. The ending of that movie, It got me.
Okay, so here's the thing. We didn't make fun of you because of that. We made fun of you because you liked the movie. We all thought the movie was kind of mid.
I thought it was...
I don't think the characters are very good. I don't think the story's very good, even for D&D. It's Baby's first D&D campaign. And, I don't like that Chris' character is the I'm going to break the third wall kind of character. And, he doesn't even play to an actual backstory really in terms of the way his character actually acts. He's acts like the same guy the entire time, and he doesn't do anything. He's an NPC. It's an escort mission. And I just once we all started talking about that, it's we don't really like him at all. And him to be the main character makes the movie kind of shit.
Yeah, okay, so I feel like the only way you can watch that movie is if you self-insert your D&D group, right? That's how you watch that movie. You don't watch that movie and be like, these are the characters. You go, what if that were my character? Or what if that were my group of friends in this campaign or in this adventure? And I think in that sense, it wasn't bad, but it was too long. It was way too fucking long. They should have cut out.
No character for me to... There was only one character for me to insert myself as, and that's probably why I didn't like it.
It was the bad guy.
No, it wasn't the
bad guy. You're the guy who takes the daughter. That's you. You're the
I'm the other guy. The guy who walked over the rock.
Oh yeah. I also think it was easy for me because my campaign deals heavily with the Fae, so I was who is the guy who gets the daughter? It's freaking the one who you hate, the one that you chewed out. I can't think of his name right now.
Hugh Grant.
Hugh Grant. No, yeah, Hugh Grant is the character from my campaign that why can't I think of his name? He's the Thieves Guild leader.
Sort of the G.
Oh, yeah. That's not that important. We haven't played my
Hagwin.
Hagwin, that's right, yeah. He's Hagwin. He kind of like gets all this money out of nowhere. All of a sudden he's a duke. And you're like, what happened? How did Hagwin do this?
Useless.
And he's useless. But yeah, I don't know. I thought it was...
That's my whole thing. I didn't feel like there was a lot of character growth. There was a lot of Deus Ex Machina in the movie.
Yeah.
And
it was predictable. Beat to beat. It was incredibly... That's why I was kind of upset with myself that it got me so bad, because I was like, I knew exactly what they were going to do. I knew the sacrifice stone was going to be used on someone from the party. The only thing that got me was that it was a mom and daughter playing together Hallmark moment, I think. And they were like, always had a mommy? And I was like, you did always have a mom.
So it is you never had a mom.
Well, you know, maybe we'll leave that
It's a hill
mystery.
close to home.
Leave that mystery for another podcast. And the other movie we both saw was Suzume. I watched it dubbed. Did you watch it dubbed?
No, I watched it subbed.
No, actually, I'm sorry. I did watch it subbed, not dubbed. I watched it subbed.
Yeah, and like for anybody who hasn't seen it, I imagine there's a lot of you who haven't seen it because it had a nationwide release and there were only like 10 people in the theater when I went.
Yeah, it was pretty
And
empty when I saw it.
opening night.
Oh, yeah, that's pretty bad. I definitely didn't see it opening night, so.
So, I mean, for those who don't know, it's like technically the fourth movie because you have
30 centimeters.
How bad is it?
It's pretty bad right now.
I know. So why don't we wait a second?
Yeah. Okay.
Why don't you write it down? Write down the time right now.
I think it's done. Isn't it done? I think I can hear you now.
Okay. So for people who haven't seen it,
no, it's not done.
Fourth. Yeah, but it's further away now.
Okay.
So people who haven't seen it, this is the fourth movie in a line with 7 centimeters per second, Your Name, Weathering with You, and this is the fourth one, right? And I think it's all the same director. Don't quote me on that. It's the same guy in all of them for whatever reason.
It's the animator or the director, one of the two.
Yeah, so like it has a lot of the same themes. And for me, I think this is the weakest movie of the four.
I do too.
And I think it's just because it's really predictable, less relatable.
Yeah, I thought it was a very odd choice to turn the main character into a chair. Like, it's really hard to relate to the main male character being a chair for half the anime.
Yeah, and I just didn't get it because, like, the cat is, like, the thing that's very interesting. And then when it got to the end, it felt like I was watching fucking Devilman Crybaby, where it's just like, we're just going to get ridiculous just to get ridiculous.
Yeah.
I'm like, all right, whatever.
I liked I mean, you called it right off the bat. You're like, you're going to like the cat. I liked the cat.
You really like the cat. The cat's the best part of that show. I don't like the male character. The chick is fine.
Yeah. But I thought it was funny when she was like, I liked the other male character, the one that was driving the car. He had the glasses and stuff. He was neat.
Yeah, I think a lot of the things that happen in the real world are neat, like the grounded stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But I think a lot of the like surrealism, making you think, I think that's not really useful.
It felt like they were trying to make like some sort of metaphor for trauma or something like that. Like she had to go back to her home to where her mother died and walk through the door and
she had to accept it, and she was the one who gave herself that strength.
Exactly. Up. Like there's a lot of metaphor, like a lot of like symbolism in that, right? And so that's what it made me think of. Like it was like maybe her coming of age story, like she had to accept, like she can't have a boyfriend, like because she's so attached to the chair, and she lets the chair go and then she can have the guy, maybe that was what it was. By the way, the whole chair thing, that's a weird fetish. I don't know whose fetish it was, but someone's fetish was like, sit on me, I'm a chair.
Your fetish?
Right? It's not my fetish, no. But someone was like, please sit on my face, I'm now a chair. But
I think so. Here's the thing. I feel like in Your Name they ran out of time, which they did. They ran out of budget before the movie came out. But in this one, it felt like they were trying to do too much.
Yeah.
Like they didn't spend enough time flushing out even the main character. Like, I know they're trying to tell the story over time, but it just doesn't come off that way. Like, her attitude towards everything doesn't even really make sense.
Yeah, it's
like,
strange.
Even when you tell her the backstory, well, I talked to myself when I was, as an adult, as a kid, and you're just like, my mom was this, and it was like, you were like 4 when she died or something like that. Like, well, that's why I buy that this character is who she is.
Well, that's why I felt like the whole thing reeked of like PTSD and like survivor's guilt and like trauma bonding. Like that's what the whole thing reeked of all that. And that's why it made me think like that had to be the underlying message, the subtext of the movie. But I felt like it all just fell flat if it was trying to tell something like that. Visually, it was great. Like it looked beautiful. The music was amazing, but everything else just kind of fell flat.
Yeah, and I thought that it, like I said, I think it's the worst one. I haven't seen 7 centimeters per second in a long time.
Mm-hmm.
But for me, I think in terms of the best overall story, Weathering with You probably has the best story altogether. Like, I think it's the most complete.
Yeah.
I like Your Name more,
Mm-hmm.
but I think I also watched Weathering with You on a plane, so it also affects you by watching it on the plane. You got all that extra oxygen being pumped into the place.
This is funny. That's your excuse, huh? That's why you were crying.
Oh yeah, it fucked me
Oxygen.
up. Like right when we were landing, I hit the end and I was like, "Oh my god, I'm crying."
That's so funny.
Like the lights are starting to come on, and you're like, "Oh no!"
Like, don't look at me. I'm in public. I forgot I was in public. I have these headphones on.
So like my whole thing is wait for it to come on a streaming service or something like that. Like I wouldn't go out to see it. I mean, it's been 2 weeks.
I mean,
since it came out already.
I think it's worth it
wouldn't
if you
go to the
want.
theater.
If you want to see, if you're willing to not want to like care about the story and you just want to see an anime on the full screen, it's still really beautiful. Like I think it's worth it if you just want to see a visual spectacle. Like
Well, when I was looking for tickets, the dubbed versions were like way more full than the subbed versions.
Oh,
So,
I bet. Yeah.
so maybe the people who like watched it dubbed liked it, but it's like a 7.2 for me out of 10. Like it's not.
Yeah, 6.5, 7, low 7.
Well, I think it's time. I think it's time for you to have your moment.
All right, here we
Your
go.
moment in the sun.
Man, I gotta do my stretches. I'm gonna do some stretches right now. So last week or last podcast, I was so enamored with doing one review or what was it, 5 reviews in 5 minutes or 1 review a minute. I kind of want to make that a regular thing, and I'm making watching new movies be a part of my schedule so I can do this. So I have 5 movies here that I'm looking at. 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh no, I have 1, 2, 3. I have 4 movies.
I'm about to start the timer.
Start my timer. Let's do it.
Go.
All right, so the first movie I saw was the Super Mario movie. The Super Mario movie was pretty good, but it was definitely not made for me. It is made for children. Hearing Chris Pratt as Mario in the very beginning took me out of the movie completely until about 30 minutes in when I finally gave up on trying to like the movie and just experienced it. I let it wash over me, and it was a nice visual spectacle with some great homages to the Super Mario series, excellent music, even though sometimes it was a little bit strange. And overall, good experience and a good rival to the new Sonic movies. It seems like a new era for superhero movies. Alright, moving on. The next one I saw was...
Mario's not a superhero.
Oh, damn it! I fucked up. Start it over. Start the clock over. No. Great addition to video game movies. Next, we have The Pope's Exorcist. The Pope's Exorcist was a movie that starred Russell Crowe and another guy who I cannot remember the name of, but it was essentially the Christian version of the Marvel-verse. And I say that with the most serious tone that I possibly can, because I saw Mother Mary rise from a pool of black blood and then explode into... blood that rained down on the exorcists, and then they literally like blew up a lady. It was one of the most ridiculous things I've ever seen, and Russell Crowe plays this like, I don't know, it's supposed to be based on true events, but there is no fucking way it was based on true events. The last line of the movie is Russell Crowe and his partner going, "Man, looks like we have 2 more demons to give thing." He's like, "Yeah, let's give them hell." And the only thing they don't do is the guitar riff and put their sunglasses on. But it's basically that is the movie. Alright, Pope's Exercise. Next thing I move on to 65 Million, or the Turok movie, starring Adam Driver. This movie was not actually the Turok movie. I thought it was going to be the Turok movie, but it was not. The Turok 65 Million...
It's really obvious that you're reading from notes. I'm letting you know.
I'm not reading from notes. This is all from the top of my head, actually.
I don't believe you.
No, I swear to God. If I had notes, it would be much more... concise and like well put together. I've just been thinking about this. This is not the first time I've thought about this. 65.
See, I made him eat 20 cents there. You guys.
No, you bastard! 65 million is a student film about humanity going through a time loop where they visit themselves 65 million years ago.
Student film? Is that what you said?
It was not actually a student film, but it felt like a student film. The only thing that was good about it was the camera angles and the lighting. Everything else, from the script to the acting, was bare bones. They didn't pay a single writer or actor. I have no idea how this movie was released. It's basically they're rehashing the same broken man escorts a daughter-like figure, and the daughter-like figure heals his broken past because he learns to care for another
like
human
The Last
being.
of Us?
Oh yeah, or The Mandalorian. We can keep
It
going.
was a little girl. I mean,
Yeah, well,
I don't know if the child's a girl or boy. I don't know.
We don't know. That's true. But yeah, it's the same kind of theme. That theme is all over Hollywood for some reason right now. Whew. And then movie number 4, we have Evil Dead Rise. Evil Dead Rise was the most recent movie I saw, and I saw it kind of with like a grain of salt because I wasn't expecting it to be good. I don't think horror movies are necessarily good anymore, and it's just maybe because I'm old or maybe because I've seen every trope that's in a horror movie. But I went in hoping for like the campier Ash vs. Evil Dead side of it, and ended up kind of getting, I don't know, I would call it gorer. Because it's just all about trying to get you have that visceral moment where you cringe at what happens. They take a cheese grater to a girl's leg at one point in time, and you're just like, ugh! But they don't hold on the shot, and they don't really give you any practical effects that make you go, whoa, that was cool. Rather than they just kind of try to scare you and jump you into it. But what they do that is pretty cool, is that they expand the lore of the Evil Dead world, and they kind of like hint that there are 3 different Necronomicons that exist, which I think is pretty cool. I have one more to do, and I guess it's Inside. Inside was a movie starring Willem Dafoe where he gets trapped inside of a art collector's mansion, and then the mansion does things that no house could ever do, like make it 150 degrees in the house or minus 40 Celsius. He then has to survive like he's on a crazy desert island eating fish out of the aquarium and caviar that's been left in the fridge for 8 months, and then the movie ends. Well, the movie is trying to be pretentious from the very beginning. It's an incredibly pretentious movie, but then it's like got all this hot air, and then it sinks just like the freaking Zeppelin, just like the Hindenburg. The movie's a big Hindenburg. There you go. 5 movies, 5 minutes. Did I do it?
It's 5:10.
Ah! Well, there's a 20-second penalty, so if you hadn't distracted me...
you were talking, though. You were talking during that time.
No.
Yeah, I distinctly remember you talking.
All right, 10 seconds. I got to shave 10 seconds off that. Well, I've got to turn from gamer to racer. No? So speaking of games, Zach, I tried to judo the games on you last time, and you judoed it back to me. So I'm going to judo you this time by judoing you first. I'm getting that first strike bonus. You finally completed Resident Evil 4. What are your final thoughts on it?
I think it's a very well-made game. I think that if you like the original Resident Evil 4, you're going to like this. They've made some stylistic choices of, making their durability on the knives and stuff, and it's like, it's okay. But I also played it on the hardest difficulty right away. Like not the hardcore mode or whatever, but I played on professional right away. And it was pretty difficult at the end. And then I got the Magnum for myself, playing the Mercenaries mode, and it makes it a lot easier. And saved the fucking spoiler alert if you're gonna watch the videos. Don't die too much towards the end.
We're gonna refer to the Magnum from this point on as the mental health Magnum because it's good for your health.
So I think it's good. I think it's solid 9. I think it's they made some choices about like the regenerators and the iron bays that I don't quite agree with. But if you liked it, great.
Would you rather play
like Resident Evil?
Would you rather play the original or the remake if you were given the choice?
The remake.
Yeah, just because of the ease of controls.
No, not necessarily that. Just sort of the the modernized way it looks and like the way it actually looks real again.
Mm.
Like the the original is very washed out.
Mm-hmm.
Shadows are better. Combat's still tanky until I did
Mouse keyboard
just switch
switch.
mouse and keyboard.
Yeah.
So I think it's good. I would say if you can get it for like $50 probably, 40,
Yeah.
$50, probably worth it. I tried to replay it a second time. Other games came out, moved on. Probably won't go back.
Yeah,
But,
we got next month is gonna be we're gonna have a lot to talk about for games. So you have quite the full plate.
but 20 something hours to beat it. If you can justify, like, if that fits your amount of time to beat the game, go for it.
And that's, at struggling at first, dying a bunch, and then eventually exploiting the game. Or using the exploits that the game gives you. I won't even say you're exploiting it. And the game that I completed, because I think we each only completed one game this month, which, I mean, I would say that most people don't complete a game a month, but kudos to us for, sticking to it. We're hardworking fellows, all right? Yeah, I beat Wall World. I wanted to make it seem like I was playing a hard game or like a game with any sort of challenge. Well, the incredibly casual game Wall World.
Oh yeah, you'll notice that pattern with both of the games he talks about.
I like casual games. I'm doing a lot of other stuff, all right? Got a lot of stuff going on. A lot of stuff in my life. But yeah, Wall World is like you mine and you fight off randomly generated waves. It's like procedurally generated. That's what they said it was. They were like, oh, the mines are procedurally generated. But really, there's like 4 different formats of mines, and then they're just put randomly on the wall. And then you get random weapons, and you can upgrade your weapons. You upgrade your suit and your drill. And it took me like 2 playthroughs to find a meta. And it's like the way you do your meta is it pretty much makes everything obsolete except for one weapon, one sub-weapon, and like one subsystem. And so it's like you don't really bother with half the game once you get to a certain point. But I just wanted to beat it because it had a fun gameplay loop. The gameplay loop is like just mindless and stressful enough to keep you playing. And then once you beat it, it takes away the boss creature or like the timer. So you can kind of just mine casually. And when I did that, I was like, I never want to play this game again.
I mean, would you recommend that game?
Oh, yeah. I mean, Wall World, if you're looking for something just casual to play every once in a while, I would definitely say Wall World is a great addition to your library. It was also only like $3. So, I mean, it's kind of hard to say no to something for $3 that lasts that long. But speaking of something that lasts a long time and is cheap and that I would recommend, I've been obsessed with this new game, and it's like, I can't believe how fast I got obsessed with it. I spent the last $10 last night, Zach. So you
spent the full 25. You spent the full 25?
Yeah, I spent the full 25.
You spent more than I did on the game that I'm going to talk about. Like,
it's a free game. So Super Auto Pets is a free game. But it's an auto battler.
Yeah, $25 free.
And then you can unlock more choices to play as.
What kind of game is it?
It's an auto battler, like something like TFT or what was the Dota one? I don't even remember what it was called, but like auto chess. And so, but it's like so much more basic than all of the other ones. It's 1v1 instead of like on like more than one person at a time. There's no like in between draft thing. There's no saving money in between the 2 drafts, but it has like this whole different level of strategy and randomization to it. And this arena mode that you have to get through. And it's just so fucking addicting. I don't know what it is about this gameplay loop, but it is so addicting. Hey, I just want to read you one of the reviews, one of my favorite reviews of Super Auto Pets. All right? Are you ready? Super Auto Pets is a real game. This is all I can say about this without sounding angry, because I hate Super Auto Pets so much. Super Auto Pets is quite genuinely the most repulsive, vile, painful game you will ever play. Your soul is nothing more than a piece of meat, And this game is a carnivore. As your lifeblood slowly siphons out of you, and your eyes and your blur and your heartbeat fades, you see the taunting face of a kangaroo, dark dead eyes viewing as nothing more than a kill, prey, toys for sport. And as you grip your own animals, and as your grip on your own animals loosens, you feel only boiling hate. Your blood bubbles with the virile hatred of an animal, and not one of yours. No, a monster, a beast. You want to destroy, and you will, but you've run out of hearts. Try again, foolish mortal. You may win once, but you will forever be a slave to Super Auto Pets. 5 out of 5. I love this game.
I will say that it is pretty addicting, but the base, like, I think it's like 3 or 4 updates in the UI from being like the game that is gonna make a lot of money.
It's actually the number one. If you search auto chess or auto battler games, it's the top auto battler game that you can download. And it's one of the number one free games on Steam, which I was blown away by when I read that.
I feel like the thing, like the fact that it skips the bench and like it makes you think more long term. Like I understand why that's nice, but the thing that I think about it already is like I am not a one game person and thinking about, because this is a game where you're gonna have to start thinking about it the further you go on, and
Yeah.
I just don't think this game's for me. And the things that are frustrating about it right now are like super frustrating. Like the UI in general, like not like locking on something when you like hover over it and then not changing it to the bottom, like when it does that, like is annoying as hell.
Well, the good news is they're still actively updating it. It's not like they gave up on it. I think the last update was in March, so it's like I think there's going to be more that comes to it. And hopefully it's not just money grab stuff. Like hopefully they do some of that. Like I said doo doo again. Hopefully they do some
Get that
of that
shit out of your mouth.
I know, God. Hopefully they do some of that what's it called? Like quality of life improvements, but I mean they didn't have to do anything, and I dropped $25 on that game. I literally started playing it on Monday. I have more than 26 hours on it. It took a whole day out of my week, spread over time, but a whole day of my week went to Super Auto Pets. That's sleep too. I didn't sleep in that day. If you factor in that, I did not sleep. I played Auto Pets. Yeah, I mean, aside from that, are there any other games that you've been playing, Zach?
I've been playing the God game.
The God
That
game
is out right now. That 26 million people played on the first day.
Oh my God, I didn't know that.
I want to get the name right. I want to get the name right. So I've been playing Honkai Star Rail. Started playing it last Friday. It came out, and I've played it every day since. I haven't played it yet today, but I've been busy.
Just to do your dailies and stuff specifically, right?
No, not yesterday.
Okay.
No, I progressed the story yesterday, and the thing is, the cell phone version is pretty good. Like playing it on my phone wasn't that bad. And the way it like remembers where you are, like there hasn't been downtime. There hasn't been issues with like logging in or anything like that. The only issue I've had is that if Steam is on, I can't use my fucking DualShock. So I mean my DualSense controller. So that's the most frustrating thing, and that's it.
That's weird.
Like they're giving you a lot of free pulls right now. I'm waiting for it to hit the point where like they're not giving us enough to keep like the loop going before it's like you got to spend money. But now it's going pretty good. I think that the Twitch drops are probably still active, like if you haven't started playing it. But I'm enjoying the characters. I'm enjoying the anime art. So the thing that I didn't like about Genshin is difference. Like I like the turn-based. I liked playing around that way. There's more strategy. And I like the character designs more than I liked the Genshin ones, but I only played Genshin for like the first 2 weeks. So I don't know how different it is now, but chasing the characters is something that's very real right now. And I've still only spent $15. I bought the monthly pass, and I bought the battle pass or whatever it is. That's it. And I've done a lot of polls. I have not gotten any of the very top tier characters, but I've gotten like 4 from the S tier, but not the double S.
So
So
I didn't play Genshin Impact. Like, oh, I did play it for a little bit. Like when it first came out, I think you showed it to
you
me.
played it longer than I did.
Yeah, but I didn't really care for it. Like I played it and I was like, okay, I'm gonna get some guys. I didn't think I spent any money on it, and but it was just because like I wanted to get into it. I really wanted to like it, but I just couldn't get into it. It was either the gameplay loop or it just had too much going on. Because like one of my big problems with MMOs is it's like it's menu hell and currency hell. And it's like,
oh well, this one is that too.
I hate that. Why does it got to do that? Like, I know it's like, why do you got to make it so complicated? Zach, you made the game. You tell me.
Do you really not know why?
No, I know
because
why.
they can't have you get the same currency. They have to get you to transition the currency, otherwise it's gambling.
Yeah, exactly.
And it's menu because you get stuck in there, and then you feel like you're gonna miss something, so you check all the menus. You spend more time in there. The thing is, there's no penalty for that. Like it's not like the dailies take me maybe an hour, maybe, and there's like auto battling in the game, and like I'm at the point now where I could do that. It doesn't matter, but there are like 5 different currency, and it is so annoying that you have to check every menu. But like, I want the tickets. I want to be able to see characters. Whatever. Like if this is Dance with the Devil,
I don't know. Like that's the thing though. It's like, is that the gameplay loop you want? That's why I don't play MMOs, because it's like
no. It has a story. And
yeah,
like,
but that has
story.
Essentially become part of your gameplay loop is menuing and transferring currencies. Like
not that often. It doesn't. Things don't get away that quickly.
I know. I'm just being. I haven't
it's
started.
It's like on a 1 week rotation.
Derek is playing it too. I'm the only one who's not playing it, and I was like, maybe I'm just looking for excuses not to start playing it. Plus, I have a feeling you guys are gonna fish me. I'm gonna start playing, and you guys are both gonna stop playing.
I mean, the thing is, we're recording this on Cinco de Mayo. It's May 5th. Tears of the Kingdom comes out next week. I literally have the Tears of the Kingdom Switch. Like, I'm gonna be playing Tears of the Kingdom on the 12th. So, really, the test is gonna be whether or not I keep playing this once that comes out. If I still take the time to spend the 1 hour to play do my dailies, progress the story a little bit, game's probably good. But I think for when I was playing Genshin, they took too many things from Zelda and it felt super derivative. But I mean, all these games are.
It was like Zelda, but it wasn't good though. That was the difference. It was like cheap Zelda.
I mean, it's anime Zelda, right? And this is way more. It feels like I'm playing. Fuck. Let me look at what that game was called. Tales of Arise. Like it has that same art style. Like it's a Tales game,
right?
And it's not super complex in terms of like character, but building your team is important. Order is important. Gear is super important, but not a crazy amount because there's not PvP.
Mm-hmm.
So it doesn't really matter as long as you're stronger than the enemies, and I haven't had any issues leveling up or anything. So when I see the problem, like mark my words, I'm sure next month I will have an issue with the game of why the core loop is dumb and that they're just trying to get money from you. They're already going to do that because you're going to want all the new characters.
Right.
And when I do the math, it's about $15 per 10 pull. With like the bonus rates. If those bonus rates don't maintain, it's probably $20.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's the whole point, right?
That's about normal. Well, I mean, I play another gacha game. So like I play Dokkan Battle. I played Dokkan Battle for like 5 years. And it's about chasing the units, but like I played it so long that like even if I don't get the new units, not the world.
Right. You can still you're still viable.
I'm still fucking playing strong.
Yeah.
And the only PvP thing in this game, in Dokkan, like there's already set teams. Most of the team makeup hasn't really changed.
Right.
So my thing is like if you don't got a lot of money to play every game and you want to sink your time into a game like this, like sure it's a gacha. If I didn't spend the $10, $15 would have been different. Probably, I would say at the very least get the $5 pack. I don't know that you necessarily need the battle pass,
mm-hmm.
but if you want to throw $10, $15 for it, like a month, I mean, that's just like a MMO.
Or
Like,
yeah, any other game with a battle pass, to be honest. But I haven't paid for a battle. The only thing I pay for is the stupid Xbox Game Pass, and I barely use it.
so that's the thing. Like, I don't think about it in terms of how much it costs anymore. I think about how much enjoyment I get from it and how much of my time it occupies.
Yeah, that makes sense to me. I mean, like, I thought the same way when I bought the Super Auto Pets thing. It was like, well, I'm going to use them. And it's like, it makes my time more enjoyable. So, I don't know. I agree. And it's like, at some point when you're playing a free game, you're like, well, how much do I think this game deserves? Like, obviously, they put some kind of work into it and they have to make an income in some way.
It's like paying for WinRAR.
Yeah. Eventually, you got to do it. Or like donating to Wikipedia.
I've done it a couple times, but like that's what this is. Like, my thing is, right now I am hesitant to like give it a like huge endorsement, but I can tell you right now that I'm enjoying it.
I'll have to give it a
So
try. Next,
I've sunk probably more than 20 hours into it.
you'll have to check in with us next podcast, and we'll let you know how we're doing on Honkai. I'll give it a try too. I'm gonna call it honking rail. That's my name for it. The rail of honk. No.
No.
Okay.
No.
Fine. All right. Well, you know what? I'm punishing for you for that. You don't get to do your music section. Only I'm doing my music section.
Yeah, I already said that I don't want to do it because the song that I picked, like, been very busy. Been listening to a lot of my old. I've been listening to my liked songs playlist, which is like 2,200 songs. So I've been listening to a lot of new stuff. So Poster Ghost is gonna sort of take it away with the band that he wants to talk about.
So this month, we're going to be spotlighting a band that has been getting actually a lot of spotlight, even without the help of, our huge and long-reaching platform. So we're talking about Hiatus Coyote, and they're from Melbourne. Melbourne. I'm terrible. I do not have a good Australian accent. But yeah. But they are largely listened to, obviously, in America and Europe, which are two of the biggest charts, like the European and American and Japanese charts. I want to say are the three biggest music charts that exist. But they are what's referred to as neo-soul music. But I fell in love with them because of their psychedelic roots and, honestly, the sound. They have such a unique sound that it's really hard to define them. And I think putting them in a neo-soul, a jazz, or even a psychedelic genre kind of pigeonholes them because I think their music is just, I don't know. It's like, I think it's at the forefront of modern jazz. That's the best way to put it. And jazz is finding its place in popular music. And I don't mean that in the sense like people are listening to like saxophone solos and stuff like that. I'm saying the modalities, the tone, and the instrumentation of jazz is finding its way into modern music through avenues of hip-hop, lo-fi, and electronic music. And because of that, it's finding popularity. Have you gotten a chance to listen to the songs that I sent you yet, Zach?
It sounds like I'm listening to it right now, but this song that I'm listening to, it sounds like movie music to me.
Yep.
Like, I could see it being like if they redid Bebop, I could hear some of these songs. Like, if Bebop was more cyberpunky, I could see some of these songs. Like, if it's less cowboy, more technological, more, I mean, I don't want to use the word that you used, but like more neo future.
Yeah.
I could see these being in it, but I can hear the lo-fi influences and stuff like that. The very slow beats a lot of the time. Very like lounge type music, like it's Catherine or like a Persona or something like that.
Right. So the singer has been referred to as a modern Billie Holiday. Billie Holiday is a very famous jazz singer from, I want to say, the 1950s. When was the Civil Rights Movement? 40s or 50s?
The 60s.
She was in the Civil Rights Movement. But yes, and the voice is... Her vocals are some of the best vocals I've ever heard in my life. Like, I saw them live, and I was so blown away by her vocal ability that I don't think... Like, you'd have to see someone like Mariah Carey or something like that.
Maybe it's the 50s.
But
she died in the 50s.
Yeah, it probably was the 50s then. But yeah, But yeah, so honestly, like you would have to see something like Mariah Carey or something to hear vocals of this caliber in any other kind of music. But since they
What are
do
you talking about? It sounds like the Persona singer. What do you mean?
well, that's what I'm saying. Like doesn't this music sound very modern? Like it sounds like bringing that tonality of jazz into a modern kind of feeling. And keep in mind too, this isn't electronic at all. This is a bass player, a guitar player, and a piano player and a drummer. It's a 4-piece band that is making this sound.
I'm trying to like listen to it more. Like it reminds me of something, but I'm trying to figure out who it is. It's not Mariah Carey, but I'm trying to think of like slow R&B. Like it seems okay to me,
It's good.
but I think it's the lo-fi part of it.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like it's purposely not rubbing anything the wrong way. Like it feels very neutral.
I consider it just objectively good music. It's hard to pick some when you learn about composition, you learn about it's called bumps and spaces or bumps and gaps, right? And when you listen to a full song through, it shouldn't feel like it has a bump, something that doesn't belong, or a gap, something that needs to be put in, right? And when you listen to Hiatus Coyote music, I feel like it's gapless and bumpless. Like you don't hear something that doesn't need to be there, but they still manage to be creative and push the boundaries of this type of music while they do it.
Oh, it could be in The Wire. That's what I think of. It sounds
Really?
like The Wire music.
What song are you listening to?
Get Sun right now.
Oh yeah, that's a good song.
I like Fingerprints better.
Fingerprints. Yeah, that one's like kind of stripped away. It's just the piano and her vocals mostly, right?
But I liked it better than the first song than Lace Skull.
Yeah, Lace Skull was their first album, which was the most experimental. Get Sun, like when they got to that album, the third one, Mood Valiant, you could tell they were trying to be more accessible. And then Fingerprints is pretty that album, Choose Your Weapon. That one was kind of experimental too. But I feel like they really came into themselves on the third album, Mood Valiant.
What?
They really came on themselves. Came into
said
themselves.
Came in themselves. You didn't even say into. You came in themselves.
No, I said came into themselves.
No, I think you had a Freudian slip there.
Roll it back. Like I said, I saw them live. They are so tight live, sound exactly like they do on the album and do improvisation. So it's like you go see them live and it's a genuine show. They are genuine musicians. And beyond that, they have like a really unique style. They bring this like graffitied car on stage with them. It's kind of like that new age thing, like where they're like, oh, we're hippies and we're super unique, you know, but at the same time, I feel like they're doing it genuinely as opposed to like someone who's like just trying really hard to do that. But then again, what do I know?
I added the Fingerprint song, but not the first one. The first one, like the bebop one. The second one Fingerprint sounds like the lo-fi song. The third one feels like it's okay. I'm just gonna say it feels like it's like in a show where like it's about black people succeeding and stuff like that.
Yeah.
As opposed to the first song. The first song doesn't sound like that. Lace Skull doesn't sound like that. Like I could see this song being in like Black Dynamite.
Oh, nice. Yeah, they definitely give me soulful vibes. I did not think she was like when you were like, she's not Aborigine. That was the first thing I thought too. I was like, what? That voice is coming out of that girl? This is crazy. Here, I want you to. Here, I'm gonna share my screen. I want you to watch this music video with me.
You know, I like it less.
Now that you
the
can
longer
see
this
it.
video goes, the like it less and less.
I know you're gonna hate them so much the moment you see them. That's what I feel. I knew you were gonna hate the look.
What the fuck?
They look pretty crunchy, huh? Pretty granola.
Like, are they trying to like just seem like edgy? Like, are they dressing themselves?
You've never hung out with people who like do acid a lot, have you? Except for me, I'm the only one, and I'm like a normal one, so I'm not a good existence.
I mean, I've been around Dominic. Dominic didn't dress like this.
This is like, imagine if Dominic was famous.
That looks like they rolled around in a pile of clothes at the.
They rolled around in the thrift shop, right? That's exactly what she looks like. She looks like a thrift shop threw up on her face. No,
she looks like she smells like patchouli.
Hell yeah, that's exactly the point I was making. These are some crunchy ass granola ass hippies.
Everybody's high.
Yeah.
I can already tell. That's Coke on the.
It's ketamine.
You're like, I don't. Ugh.
So I know we've talked a lot about the image and the sound and stuff, but like underneath all of this, the reason why I like it is because it's objectively really fucking good music. Like the fact that it can sound right down the middle like this, and then once you dive deep
Why
into
does she have
it,
the silver tooth, dog? Like, what?
I'm telling you, there's a lot of like stage show to it. But
Is it
like
because when she was doing meth or what? Look,
Could-
the one normal guy.
he
the
plays
normal
bass.
person.
He has to play bass too because the bass holds the band together.
You're like, you have to stay sober, but everybody else is. You have to stay sober.
But like I said, underneath all of this, you're hearing meter changes, you're hearing key changes, you're hearing this girl do really complicated vocal runs while playing the guitar. Like, the stuff they're doing is crazy. That's why it's like, okay, they look like this, but they get to look like this. Because what they're doing is really like... I don't know, making this something that's accessible that doesn't seem off-putting. Like, because if you never saw what they look like and you just listen to their music, it's enamoring, right? But when you don't see it, or like when you watch them, you're like, oh, they had to take a lot of acid to make this.
Trash people.
I loved it. I had so much fun at the concert, and like they were so good live. Like,
When's your song coming out?
well, I've been working on it actually, so. I mean, my song will come soon. I'm working on a second song right now because I want to have a 2-song set. My first song's 7 minutes long. And so...
Plug your song here.
Oh, well, I mean, I could, but it's not done. I'd have to have it done by the time of the podcast. Oh, okay. Well, I mean, if you want to check out Poster Ghost Music, I post my music on Poster Ghost Music. It's at Poster Ghost Music on YouTube, or you can search Poster Ghost on Spotify, where I already have a couple songs out. But yeah, I have a new song coming out. Hopefully I'll be gigging a little bit this summer. I took a summer off from school so I could do so. Yeah, I mean, that's the kind of music I'd like to be playing, but at the same time, I would really need a drummer to do anything that complicated because the looper pedal doesn't allow for a lot of meter modulation unless I'm doing it myself, and I don't really want to think that hard while I'm on stage. It's already...
Why don't you just write the whole arrangement like Dave Grohl, Chris? Come on.
I mean, I already do, and it's a bitch and a half. And
I feel like the only bitch in this is you.
All right. Well, thanks for tuning in, everybody. This has been kind of like I don't know if it's a bridge, because I think it did come out to be about an hour long, even with our breaks. But thanks for tuning in for the P3cast this month. 5-minute reviews, and I get to plug Hiatus Coyote. Go listen to them. They're really good. Honestly, like, if you haven't given them a chance, Fingerprints is a great song. That's the one that Zach really liked. We both just listened to Breathing Underwater, the music video. If you want to get a good sense of, like, what they look like and what we mean when we're talking about their image. Go check out Resident Evil 4 if you haven't yet. It's a great remake of the game. Zach gave that his stamp of approval.
And we're doing a playthrough if you haven't seen the videos.
Yep, check out our playthrough. Be on the lookout next month for both the Final Fantasy and Zelda playthrough. We don't know how we're going to do it yet, if we're going to record it separately. I mean, we might have to. Or we don't even know if we're going to record it because it's on the Switch. But, just look forward to some new content. We got some stuff coming out constantly now.
And I didn't even say anything about Chris's mom this time.
Oh!
You guys are all proud of me.
Oh! We did it! We did it! I'm applauding. I'm putting an applause right here.
And also, this is completely unrelated to the podcast. Go to the doctor. Go get that checkup. even if you only have like a bump, go to the doctor.
Yeah.
Make the appointment right now.
Yeah, it's not a bad idea to go visit the doctor. Have him check you out.
Get your shots.
Yep. Get your testicles checked.
That's my public service announcement.
All right.
See you guys next time.
Bend over and cough. Good night.